which is one of my favorite things. Because we often think about, how many of us would ever think about type 2 diabetes and saying, ooh, let's talk about chocolate too. Well, believe it or not, that's what we're going to do. Chocolate and berries, another one of my favorite things. When you put them together, they're even better. The type 2 diabetes is perhaps the most common type of diabetes in adults. And we only have two types of diabetes. Type 1, which is what we call insulin dependent, and that's tends to be young adults and down. They must take insulin their whole life long because the pancreas, the islets of Langerhans, don't worry about that. Anyway, the islets of Langerhans, beta cells do not produce insulin, and so therefore they have to take insulin their whole life. And then the second type is what we call type 2 diabetes mellitus, and this is all diabetes mellitus. And diabetes mellitus is a disorder of carbohydrate metabolism. And so there are two types, type 1 and type 2. Type 2 we tend to see in adults, and there are two reasons for it. And I'm sure I'm getting ahead of myself, but that's okay. Two reasons are etiology or causes. One is that the pancreas, the beta cells, are producing insulin, but it's insufficient to take care of the metabolism, carbohydrate metabolism. Or it's that the body is resistant to the insulin that's being produced. And so we either have an insulin insufficiency or insulin resistance in our own bodies. So, how can chocolate and berries help us? Now, how many like chocolate? I'm going to be honest. And I'm going to put my hand up first. I really like chocolate. And I've had to teach myself to eat dark chocolate because I really prefer milk chocolate, which is not a good kind. So, but I'm learning, and if it's a question of no chocolate or dark chocolate, I'll eat the dark chocolate so that I can still have chocolate. Okay, so, okay, Colin has given me instructions, and I still, all right, there we go. All right, so this should be good news for all of those who put their hands up. This is a recent study that was actually done in the UK, and was published in the Journal of Nutrition, and it indicates that chocolate, berries, tea, grapes, and other kinds of berries, I guess you could call them, are high in something called flavonoids. And this is a chemical compound, and it helps to regulate insulin metabolism, or glucose metabolism rather, and it also helps to, I guess, manage our type 2 diabetes if we have that. So their findings indicate that when we have a high intake of these flavonoids, the chocolate and the berries in our diets, that we tend to have a decreased resistance to insulin. So this is good news. And I've already talked about this. The normal glucose level is 70 to 110. And when we have hyperglycemia, that is too much glucose in the blood, we go above that. If we have hypoglycemia, we go below that. So these are some of the things that we look at. In this study, there were 1,997 women who were volunteers who participated in the study. They were 18 to 76 years old. And they were recruited from something called the Twins Registry in the UK, one of the largest registries. And all the women completed a questionnaire. And in the questionnaire, they were asked how many of these foods, chocolate, berries, grapes, and so on, do you eat? And then they calculated on the basis of that whether or not they had high or low levels sugars up there, but don't worry about that. Anyway, they have lower insulin resistance, and they have improved levels of a protein called adiponectin, a regulator of glucose. So these are some of the things that they found. So the women who ate the most had the anthocyanins, of the foods that were high in anthocyanins, were the least likely to have a chronic inflammation. So it's like you get a double benefit from eating chocolate. Okay? So you can eat your chocolate without guilt. And you get one benefit is that it helps to regulate your glucose level. The other benefit is that it helps to relieve chronic inflammation. And they think it may have something to do with improvement with cardiovascular disease, and it may help to manage your weight. Now, how many of you ever thought that by eating chocolate, you could perhaps manage your weight better? No, never, right? You thought you could? No. Most of us think, oh no, you can't eat chocolate, then go be obese. No, it depends on the type of chocolate you eat and whether or not, otherwise you have a pretty healthy diet. Okay? So if you're eating, I forgot this one, how much of the chocolate you eat. Now you can't just get a box of dark chocolate and go sit down and eat until it's all gone. That won't work. But you can eat small amounts of dark chocolate, and it has to have a certain percentage of dark chocolate. You can eat small amounts of that, actually, each day, and still be okay. So the researchers, but they have this caution that they really don't know how many of these compounds we need to eat
chocolate because it's always been my favorite vegetable.
Mine too. And I'm not sure I'm praising it, I'm just saying, this morning, if you enjoy it, don't feel bad about that. Have a little of it. And they're the best kind you can find with the highest percentage, okay? All right, well, thank you so much. I'll turn it over to Brian and have closing prayer for Sabbath school.
Yeah, I don't think you're telling us to go to McDonald's and put our burgers and fries and have chocolate shake. So, otherwise, I saw that in the last slide. Otherwise, healthy diet of vegetables and fruit, which of course is the health message that we've had for some time. Thank you, Dolores. I really enjoy these things. Another wonderful Sabbath school lesson today. Jesus, the greatest teacher who ever lived, used very simple, very common, practical things in everyday life. We can learn from that. It's a very good dialogue in our Sabbath school class. And if you know someone that's not attending Sabbath school, encourage them because it's really an educational sharing time that I think everyone who attends really enjoys. Let's go ahead and bow our heads now and we will conclude our Sabbath school program with a closing prayer. Father in heaven, once again, we thank you for your example. We thank you for your unfailing love, for your promises, for your faithfulness, each and every one of us. Thank you for the health message, and that diet does make a difference in what our brain has capabilities to do based on what we do. And there are many who don't make that connection between their diet and their health. So, Lord, we have the message. Help us to deliver it in a loving, kind, and caring, practical way. Be with us now as we continue this service, and in Jesus' name we pray.
Talk to Leo sometime about some more plantings. Okay. Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. Wonderful to be in the house of the Lord on the Sabbath day. Enjoy the fellowship. I hope that you enjoy the time of study and continue to enjoy our worship this morning. I want to welcome each and every one of you here today. Welcome our visitors with us. We hope that you will enjoy fellowship with us today. And I know that we've got some young folks here that are on a break. Nice to have you all back. See you. Want to share with you some things that are going on in our church. First, in your bulletin, you've got an insert about the upcoming health expo. And please
please keep that on your calendars. Looks like it's going to be a wonderful, wonderful event that's coming up. I know that the folks that are working on that team are working very hard to get things ready for that. And that's a very important message for our community, isn't it? For health, especially today. The laws that share with us as well. I think they're very important to us. Please look at all the announcements that are in the bulletin. Looking forward to the 9 car 30 that was rescheduled so that you can make it out on the 27th of February for that. Also want to mention in particular, I've talked about this before, I think the last time that I was with you, about our Adventist Community Services in the St. Louis area. They're doing wonderful work. I don't know how many of you had an opportunity to be able to visit the center on Woodson, right? Woodson, I think that's the name of the street that it's on road. They are serving our community in a wonderful way and providing a very spiritual influence in our community. I'd like for you to pray, especially this week, if I could challenge you to do that, please. Pray for the future of our community services here in St. Louis. We are continuing our search for a director to replace Melanie, who's done a fantastic job as a director, and for the last 7 years plus. Okay, we're trying to see her not. But she's done a fantastic job, and she's ready to move on, and I just really appreciate her service. But we need to find an individual, prayerfully, to fill her place. It's quite a position to fill. And so if you want some more information about that, you may contact myself or Mark or Ursula Wilcox about that. If you know of anybody or yourself are interested in applying for the position, the information is in the bulletin, so please do make note of that. All right. I don't know if there's any other announcements that we have, but I wanted to share with you briefly and maybe have, would you come up, Jason? I know that you're kind of relaxed there. I just wanted to, I don't know if you mentioned anything last week about the Bible experience, but I do have a video here. I want to kind of do the video if you can see it. Just give you my permission to do that, to show the video and maybe just share just a little bit about that wonderful experience and what's the next step. So you got that video, go ahead and do this one.
Next team, St. Louis West County Pioneers Team Sapphire. First place. St. Louis West County Pioneers Team Emerald. First place.
Boy, I watched that and I can feel the suspense again. It was 2 weeks ago, but it was just like yesterday. So this year we have 2 teams with the Bible Bowl. And we actually have 8 members in the Pathfinder Club. And the Bible Bowl team max is 6 active with 1 in reserve. And the thought process was, because all the kids wanted to be involved, is not to exclude anyone. So we decided on the 2 teams of 4, which means for the book of Exodus, that's 10 chapters per child. And we knew that was somewhat of a tall task, and we just see where it would take us. So now we're on to round 3. So the kids have really dug in, the parents have dug in, and I want to point out that's a critical component. That when we meet as a team, it's once a week for an hour, maybe 2 hours, depending on the schedule. Everything else is what's going on at home. And I really want to highlight that that's a true testament of what the parents are doing with their children
a great thing. Please pray for our half-hours. I was talking to the kids a little bit yesterday at school, and I know a few of them might get a little nervous about the next step, but I know that the Lord will be with them. This is just it's a great experience for our young people to learn more about the Bible. So appreciate all of your support for our half-hour group. Well, there's no other announcements. I want to, I'm sorry. Leslie.
Trio just reminded me, so I wanted to just let all of you know that we're not on Facebook. Lindsay and Marcus Genke had their baby this week. Seth Lewis was born on Thursday. He weighs 7 pounds, 3 ounces, and was 20 inches long. So if you're able to contact them and congratulate them, I'm sure they're really appreciative. Good morning, happy Sabbath. Just a reminder of tonight's housewarming vespers at 6 o'clock in the fellowship hall. Bring your family, bring your gift. And it doesn't matter if you're old or young or men or women. Please come and join us to share our love for one another in Jesus' name.
Amen.
In Jesus' name.
As I mentioned that, I forgot about that. But I look forward to seeing you next time. Well, let's prepare our hearts.
Good morning. Happy Sabbath again.